All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here. This post Traders Talk Tuesday edition here of our afternoon meeting, January 11th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. And great to see Kathleen, great to see Chuck, great to see Norman and Bill, all of us live inside Cyber Group. And once again, if you're joining us back on Facebook Live or YouTube, our social streams, welcome on back as well. So let's hop right into it. We got the stock Vine making a strong push up. It actually got halted just earlier, reopened up, and has been pushing back up pretty nicely. So what's the news out on this stock? Why is this up so much? Well, I tried looking for the news just a moment ago. I don't have any headline for us here. It just says that fresh Vine wine shares are halted on a circuit breaker to the upside. That's all I got. So as far as what this company does, at least this isn't the news as to why the stock is running, but just this, it says Fresh Vine Wine Inc., producer of low carb, low calorie premium wines in the United States. It's a wine collection that features a California Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, California Rosé wine. So that said, it's 4 o'clock somewhere. We got a little bit more time before the market closes, but hey, might celebrate with a fresh Vine wine. But nonetheless, nice push up so far heading into the afternoon. Looks like a new IPO, if anything. That's the only thing else I got for you here, because aside from what you see on the daily chart, there's no other history for the stock. So it's actually breaking all-time highs as we speak. So with that in mind, we're going to put this stock Vine on our afternoon list to begin. It definitely has pretty thin liquidity on the books, so you have to be pretty careful about that. It looks like there was a lot of sell-off here right before 2:30 Eastern, right before we started this meeting. You could just say that because there was a pretty big spike of volume right here. So clearly this 50, 60 nearly cent bar, you'd imagine for there to be a lot of volume coming into this trade, just looking at the size of the volume spike. And with that, we ended up seeing a lot of sell-off, a lot of prints in red and black under 8. So even with this little pop up to 8 just now, I would be a little wary of it here. I'd anticipate a pullback down at least at first. And if not, if this keeps pushing up at least, shortly after we move on from the stock, look for a couple more breaks above 8, and with that, perhaps you'll catch a clean one. So for right now, the Vine stock we'll put on our watch list so far. Now, what we'll do, really, just to make time, make efficient with time, we'll just go right from top to the bottom, because really, otherwise, the SBEV, the PIK, the NTRB, VORB, all these stocks we ended up calling out at least from this morning, or at least heading into the early afternoon. So the SBEV trade, we ended up covering this stock from head to toe inside Traders Talk, our weekly workshop that we did earlier today. So more or less, this stock ended up making a bit of a pop up at first, but then ended up generally holding the top yellow line that you could see. It broke above it, but came right back under 185, and from there just fell apart. So for right now, it's actually trying to make that second win type of move up as we speak. It ended up making a nice 10, maybe 15-cent bounce off the low, right back up to another yellow line on my chart off of 162. I believe that was the opening bell print from today. I don't know. I don't think that this is ready to make a whole new run back up to break the HOD and break the pre-market high right off of 2. If we come back to the stock at the end of the meeting and it shows more signs of life on the way up, then I wouldn't mind, putting this back on our list. But let's see if there's any others that look a lot better for right now. Just to follow up on the Vine trade, Kevin M. inside Cyber Group says, yes, it was an IPO back from November, that Vine trade. Yeah, not a whole lot of activity, at least prior to December, and it's already up above that high. So PIK right now looking pretty similar in the sense of an afternoon run, ended up getting halted pretty much right there at 12 p.m. Eastern time, ended up getting halted shortly above 5, ended up opening up much higher. Took a while, but ended up breaking higher, as you could see, right off the highs of 555, 560 perhaps there. Ended up breaking out pretty nicely. Now, at this point, though, lower highs off of 7, beginning to make a bit of a lower low off of 650. At this point right now, it wouldn't shock me if this PIK trade does come back down all the way. It was 570, the top here. But wouldn't shock me at this point if it's not going to hold strong from where it's at now, to see this begin to pull back a lot further. Given the afternoon move that this stock has had so far, I don't mind at least putting this back on putting this on our watch list. Perhaps this is a little bit more volatile to the point where we could find some support, if not from 570, then maybe from 6 as it continues to drop from here. All right, we keep it going. NTRB, nice move back up on this trade actually right now. Ended up making a pop going into the early morning here. Popped, prior to 10 a.m. Eastern, got halted and reopened up, but ended up falling apart from there. And this actually ended up making a nice move back up. But personally, I would have thought that it would have came back down right towards here where it initially got halted and then made the bounce. Ended up bottoming out pretty nicely right off of like 680-ish, 685 and then pushed up. But yeah, for right now, more so heading into the afternoon, this stock is beginning to trend back up, as you could see, pretty nicely. The order book is rather thin, so that part I'm not too big of a fan of. I'll come back to this at the end. I'll come back to the stock at the end, NTRB, if we need to. We got Bark up next. We got like a bunch of pet stocks. I don't know if you've been following that in the last few days. We have PETZ, we had dogs, and now we got Bark. So Bark today ended up making a bit of a nice move, from 4 basically. Once it broke the high of the day and that major level at 4, ended up taking off pretty nicely up towards the high. You could see right off of 475, 473 there. I don't know. Right now, you could say it's kind of holding strong, but still pretty flat for right now. So again, kind of like the others. We'll come back to it if we need to. ACCD. And now at this point, we'll kind of just skim through, see if there's anything else that's more within our price range or anything else that looks pretty strong on the way up. Oh, looks like my volume bar is glitching out there. TSRI, this one from earlier today ended up making a nice move in pre-market, but after the market opened up, this initial pop came right back down about 3 minutes later. So, it looks like it made a nice run at first, but this was pretty much going into the open and right after 9:30. So, as a day trader, you're not looking to hold on to a position going right into the market open. You want to get out probably right around like 9 o'clock, maybe 9:15 the latest, and then try and readjust, reposition yourself for when the market opens up. So, it ended up making a nice pop leading into the open and then dumped right back down about like 3 to 5 minutes after. So for right now, maybe if this could break back over, 11 here, it can make maybe like a 50-cent move, perhaps. But I don't know. The stock looks pretty exhausted otherwise. Speaking of exhausted, VERU, pretty flat right now, and we'll keep it going. The MOLN was from Friday last week, right? Or just yesterday even, right? This is the one that I was saying to kind of stay away from. Pretty spotty chart. Looks like it had a nice move today, up 19%, but you can't use level 3 on this trade. There's next to no volume on the order book, so pass on this. This B-Fly trade pulling back. I was pretty excited to follow this heading into the afternoon. It was looking pretty good up until 2 p.m. It looks like dipped off from the highs there and pulled back. It has good volume on the order book. It's trading about 20,000 shares per minute live right now. I don't know. Just the drop off here, I'm not a fan of. I was hoping to see this make a nice new high at this time of the day, and this drop doesn't make me think that it's going to make that move now. Turning over to a more expensive stock. Just wanted to look at Shake Shack pretty quick, but again, I'm going to pass on this. All right. You got DWAC, DWAC. Trump stock ended up making a big push for us going back into last week when we were trading it live in the Phase 3 stock course. You could say the same with PHUN, although PHUN is not nearly as lively, it seems, compared to the fund trade. Albeit fun right now is holding over 275. I'm sorry, the DWAC stock is the one I was comparing it to. I'll put both on our watch list, given right now we don't really have too many on there so far. The DWAC trades up just about 14%. It seems like this is trying to make another push back up. And if that's the case, then I would imagine for this fund stock to go with it to a degree. So for right now, I don't mind slipping both on the DWAC and then PHUN in sympathy with it. All right, let's see what else we got here, folks, on the gainer side. On the gainer side here first. We had PHIO make a nice little pop after the open, but that one pulled back as well. I feel like a lot of these died off from the morning. SPY's having a nice retracement day back up. My BTBT up over 10% today. Not in it anymore, but I know Bitcoin's had a good day today. Nice little push back up off the 40,000 price level. I did not buy any more just yet, but perhaps we'll see later on this week. BCRX, wow, before jumping over to the loser side for right now, BCRX ended up having another fantastic morning here today. Popped as soon as the market opened up. We were on this pretty quick, and then from there ended up breaking higher heading into the late morning, the early afternoon. Made a nice pop above 17, but fell back down from that point. And right now, pretty flat. So, we'll keep this in mind as a good side list stock just to check in with it perhaps tomorrow morning. Once the market opens up, if this shows good activity, we would love to, call this out again. Looks like the Vine trade's making another push back up to the 8 level there. So we'll jump back to the Vine stock before we finish up just to kind of keep you in tune with it. For right now, let's just jump back to the losers side for right now. The losers list, HUDI down over 30%, ended up getting crushed early on this morning. I have no idea what happened to this trade, folks, in terms of news, but looks like ended up making a nice squeeze back up once the shorts covered. And then at that point, just fell flat. So, I have no idea what happened to the stock that allowed for such a drop off from 22 down to sub 10. And really, to see a stock make that fast of a recovery back up is quite impressive. We clearly did not get that type of squeeze back up on the Pets trade today, like we were hoping for beginning from yesterday, but ended up showing signs of weakness early on. The PETZ trade would have found this on the loser side of things anyway. But, for as much down as this was the last 2 days, down over 82% from yesterday morning, you would have thought that this would have made some sort of squeeze back up. Did not do it today. And that's okay. Well, we'll keep our eye on the stock. But they all don't. They don't all squeeze back up as fast as the HUDI did today. That's pretty weird. All right, so we'll see what else is out there. Otherwise, on the loser side, PACB trading over 10 million shares. And it's trading about 15,000 shares per minute right now. That's pretty decent. So in terms of just more of a tradable, volatile stock for right now, I don't mind slipping the PACB on our list here. It is shortable, so if we happen to see more signs of weakness heading into the close, more selling as it breaks below 1450, that could be a pretty interesting short setup. Otherwise, if we happen to see support hold, perhaps we'll get a push over 15, at that point, just to kind of see it break out of this channel here. All right, let's see what else we got here. Otherwise, market's up today, so probably not too many familiar names on the loser side of things for right now. I'll tell you, though, this QFIN stock at the lows and actually dropping off live. So it's hard for us to not put QFIN in particular on our watch list as a possible short. SFM, you could say the same thing, but QFIN is a little bit cheaper, moving faster, and more of a clear direction down right now. And that's just about it, folks. I think that's all you got from me on the losers and gainers side altogether. If there's anything else up, down more than 5% that you would want me to look at or check out here, just type it in the chat board. And right away, we do have one from a few minutes ago from Mitch on YouTube. Mitch Connor. NTRB. All right, so we were going to jump back to this stock here at the end, and thankfully Mitch pointed it out once again here. So showing more signs of life on the way up, ended up beginning to make the push off 750. And yeah, this thing's looking pretty good now. So the NTRB we said we would jump back to, and looks pretty good. OTLY. How about OTLY from Mark? It's up 13.5%. I appreciate the call out. It's definitely not a bad one. If anything, it looks good. The chart looks good. It looks so flat the last, near 15, 20 minutes. That doesn't make it seem as attractive. The fact that it's up near the highs, up 13%, right within our price range, good liquidity on the order book. More often than not, I would put this type of stock on our watch list. It just seems so flat the last however many minutes. So that isn't making me feel too good about it, but not a bad call. BDTX testing 520 soon, says Norman. That was from earlier as we were beginning this meeting. And right now, I mean, hey, this was one from the morning as well. It's still up 14%. It's actually pretty close to the regular session HOD right now. Doesn't seem like it looking at the chart, but the high of the day today, regular session, 521. It's at 514 right now. This one also seems a little stagnant the last 3 or 4 minutes, but from the start of this meeting, trended up pretty nicely. It also is shortable, so if this fails to break out higher and pops, makes a false breakout, perhaps this could be a pretty good short otherwise. I'll slip this on our list for right now, maybe give this a second look. 8 stocks to work with right now, folks. The TSRI trade just made a little pop, Grant. Yeah, again, this one right now, I feel like just traded too much volume and even from pre-market. So I was saying, is there a chance for this to make like a 30, 40, 50 cent move? Yeah. So far, it's made just about a 20-cent move off the level. If anyone's in right now, they're off to a good start. Uh-oh. Look what happened on Vine. We didn't even get a false breakout. It just held 8 like a rock and then just completely tanked. Not even a false breakout there. That doesn't look too good right now for Vine either way. But, for right now, I'll keep this on our list. Just wanted to give you a last look on this stock before we wrap up. IRNT from Norman. Let's see. This one looks all right. It's up near 14%. Maybe this was climbing up the gainers list as I was going from top to bottom. I don't even think I clicked on it, but if I did earlier, I probably would have passed. But now over the last 5 minutes, definitely showing a lot more signs of life on the way up, breaking above that resistance at 395 and breaking above 4 right now as we speak. Looks better now. So, yeah. All right, folks. So now, all in all, we got 4, 6, 8, 9 stocks to work with. Still not too big of a list, but for right now, though, I would rather all of us here live just stick with this list to begin. If there's any side list stocks that you're more so, following, keep it to yourself. Unless if it's making a big pop, hey, if it's making a very big move, then call it out. But otherwise, though, we just ran through the whole market. So I like this list to begin. And then otherwise, if there is anything else that, that can make a move, unless if it makes a big pop right away, we'll look to kind of wait up until 3:15 Eastern time, perhaps 3:30, and then we'll see what other opportunities there are out there. All right. So for all of us on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Facebook, I'll probably never get it right. I appreciate you either way. If you have any questions, feel more than free to send an email right on over to my email address. I always post it here at the end of the streams. Josh at ctutrading.com. Otherwise, if you wanted to continue the audio commentary for the rest of the day today, for this week, feel more than free to go right down to the link on the banner below the stream there just to get yourself started. But for Norman, for Chuck, for Grant, for Mark, for Scott, for all of us here live right now, I look forward to talking to you folks later on today at 3:30. Take care.